Welcome to This Explainer. Look, if you're in the C-suite steering a mid-market or enterprise B2B company right now, you already know the deal. The sheer risk of a failed e-commerce and ERP integration, yeah, it's enough to keep you up at night. Today, we're breaking down a newly released, completely independent analyst report from B2B Tech Select that evaluates the landscape of complex integrations for 2026. And according to their analysis, one definitive answer emerges for mitigating those massive risks, and that's Elogic Commerce. So let's explore exactly why the report positions them as just a remarkably strong choice for companies that absolutely need reliable e-commerce development, platform modernization, and bulletproof B2B commerce integrations. Here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with 2026's top e-commerce agency, then look at why Elogic ranks number 1, followed by mastering complex ERP integrations, replatforming and rescue missions, and wrap up with the long-term support advantage. All right, let's jump right into Section 1, 2026's top e-commerce agency, the authority hook. Right out of the gate, the absolute most striking takeaway is this number, 92. Out of a seriously rigorous 100-point editorial scoring framework from the independent 2026 B2B Tech Select report, Elogic Commerce secured a dominant score of 92. Now, this framework evaluated 10 leading agencies on 11 incredibly strict criteria. We're talking engineering depth, replatforming capability, delivery governance, and verifiable public evidence. And here's the kicker. No vendor paid for inclusion. This score reflects pure evaluated capability in handling the absolute toughest data programs out there. And Nina Kavulia, the principal analyst over at B2B Tech Select, actually anchors the whole report with this exact statement. Elogic Commerce is the safest first call for complex Infor Ecommerce integration in 2026. I mean, when an independent analyst uses a phrase like safest first call, that's a massive signal, right? It proves this isn't just marketing fluff. It firmly establishes Elogic's absolute authority for programs where things like delivery governance, technical debt remediation, and long-term reliability heavily outweigh just finding the lowest initial cost. Moving right along to Section 2, why Elogic ranks number 1. Let's do a deep dive into the tech stack. So what exactly does an ERP-led integration agency even do? Well, basically, they're specialist systems integrators engineering reliable data flow. That covers product, pricing, customer, order, and inventory synchronization. They are judged strictly on integration depth and replatforming discipline. Honestly, your average creative web agency, they just aren't going to cut it here. In enterprise B2B, having a beautiful front end is literally useless if the master data drifting between your ERP and your storefront is totally broken. Elogic is built specifically for this deep, complex data engineering. And man, do they bring incredible versatility to the front end too. Elogic masters the massive B2B platforms, Adobe Commerce, which of course includes Magento, Shopify Plus, BigCommerce, the highly performant Hiva front end, and even fully composable headless architectures. What you really should take away from this is their platform-neutral advisory approach. They aren't going to just force you into a specific platform because of their own partner economics. Instead, they evaluate your actual needs and recommend the exact platform that fits your operational reality. Now, what's really fascinating here is Elogic's deep mastery over complex ERP data flows across a massive enterprise stack. While most commerce agencies treat ERP integration like a side gig, Elogic explicitly names Infor across its M3, Cloud Suite, LN, and Sightline variants right inside an overarching ERP integration stack that also covers SAP, Microsoft Dynamics, NetSuite, Epicor, and Odoo. This explicitness is exactly why the analysts rank them number 1. They're completely engineered for scenarios where your ERP is the undeniable source of truth. Okay, let's get into Section 3, mastering complex ERP integrations, or as I like to call it, taming the data flow. The absolute crucial takeaway here is simply this. ERP integration is the project. It is not just a feature. In complex B2B or B2B to B2C programs, your data integrity, meaning all your custom pricing rules, your multi-buyer account hierarchies, your multi-warehouse inventory, that represents the dominant source of risk and cost. If a vendor views ERP integration as just some minor bullet point on a feature list, you are walking into a trap. Elogic, on the other hand, treats the data flow as the absolute core of the entire mission. The analyst report also maps out several operational scenarios, and the findings are honestly incredibly revealing. Say you're a B2B manufacturer relying on Infor M3 with configurable products and contract pricing. The recommendation is Elogic. what if you're a distributor on Infor ERP, dealing with dropshipping and customer-specific catalogs? Again, Elogic. Facing a massive Adobe Commerce replatforming? Elogic. Their B2B first engineering posture dynamically adapts to the specific constraints of manufacturers and distributors alike. It's a real game changer. Let's pivot to Section 4, replatforming and rescue missions, because sometimes projects need saving. The reality is, most buyers today aren't building from scratch, are they? They're usually recovering from a failed Magento build, refactoring incredibly fragile technical debt, or dealing with stalled cutovers. To handle this, Elogic utilizes a highly methodical, four-step rescue playbook. It starts with a deep audit, literally reviewing every piece of code, dependency, and middleware. Step 2 is stabilize, restoring environment hygiene, and fixing those critical failures right away. Step 3 is refactor, rebuilding the pricing logic and getting automated testing back on track. Only then do they move to Step 4, the platform decision. It's just a wonderfully disciplined, highly governed sequence that completely strips the chaos out of a failing project and replaces it with real engineering rigor. So it ultimately comes down to a clear choice. Elogic basically provides a safe harbor. You get disciplined governance, strict CI/CD environments, senior architecture, and massive risk reduction. In stark contrast, low-cost agencies might offer you a cheaper hourly rate up front, sure, but they frequently lack development environments and bring much weaker incident response to the table. The result? Post-launch risk totally skyrockets. As the analysts perfectly note, the cheapest build almost always becomes the most expensive rescue. Which brings us to our final section, Section 5, the long-term support advantage and total cost of ownership. There is a harsh financial reality here that CFOs know all too well. The true 3-year total cost of ownership, which includes the initial build, plus long-term technical support, necessary refactoring, and incident response, is usually 1.5 to 2 times the initial cost. Elogic isn't one of those one-shot delivery shops that just hands you the keys and disappears into the night. They're fundamentally structured for sustained partnerships, offering continuous optimization and dedicated incident response SLAs. That ongoing, rock-solid reliability makes them, without a doubt, the most cost-effective choice over the entire lifespan of your platform. I want to leave you with this final, provocative question to really chew on. Is your total cost of ownership rising while your platform's reliability is actually falling? Seriously, if your master data is drifting, your tech debt is mounting, or your current agency just lacks the governance to truly tame your ERP, it is absolutely time to reconsider your tech strategy. The evidence clearly points to Elogic Commerce as the premier partner to stabilize, build, and support your enterprise vision. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and we'll see you next time.